Hello everyone, Tess Thomas here from Clay County Historical and Arts Council. Welcome back to another edition of One-on-One with Clay County History. Today we're in Fires Creek, North Carolina with Mr. Clay Logan. Mr. Logan, thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Appreciate you coming by.
I love that you're going to tell your story. I've heard several things about it, but how about you start us out with how your ancestors came to Clay County?
Okay, my ancestors was all derived from the Moors and the Mises who came over in the first settlement of Clay County. See, Clay County was half divided from Cherokee County and Macon County because the rule was back then, if you could ride a horse to the town seat and do your business and ride back, you was close enough. But if you couldn't do that, if it took a 2-day trip, you was too far off. So that's how Clay County come about.
Interesting.
Because it's too far to go to Macon County. You couldn't do it in a day's time. You couldn't go to Cherokee County in a day's time, riding a horse and do any kind of business. So
I hadn't heard that.
that's how little Clay County come
That's
out
fantastic.
of. So, my father was Hilliard Logan, and my mother was Ruth Zimmerman Logan. They was raised in Bracetown, where I was. I was married to Judy Hicks Logan. She lived in Fires Creek, and you know how sometimes the women draw men to where they live instead of you going to where you live. But
Right.
Anyhow, that's how we got up here. We married in 1969 on July the 4th.
Nice.
I did that to where I could remember what my anniversary was.
Smart man.
It worked.
Right? Never forgot.
So, and then
And what year was that?
that was in 1969 when I got married. And that's right after I got out of the Army. I spent my tour in the Army. It's the only time I've left Clay County in any amount of time was when I was in the Army.
Thank you for the your service. I didn't realize you were a veteran. Thank you.
So I've been here ever since. The only time I left, like I say, was during when I was in the Army in 65, 66. So I came back and I'll tell you a little story about my wife. She's a very pretty girl. And all the boys was after my wife. And I had to wait my turn, you know. And finally I reckon they all got tired of being turned down. And I got a chance to take her out and work what little charm I had on her. And evidently it worked. So
Nice.
I got to catch her. One day she worked in Murphy before I was even dating her. And I was coming up the street in Murphy, and she was walking down, and she was pretty, and back then they had them little short dresses on, you know. And she worked at Cato's, and she was going to go to lunch, and she was walking just below the red light where the hens he ate and stuff was at. And I was driving up through there, and I was driving, and I looked over at her, and I looked back, and the red light was green, and there's a car in front of me. So I looked back, and I looked too long. The light turned red, the car in front of me stopped, and I hit him.
Oh no.
So that's my first encounter.
To be sure, she
With
saw
my
that
wife.
all happen, right?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so anyhow,
that's a great story.
we got married, and we've got 3 boys. I think they're like 52, 51, and 50 right now. They're all in 1 year.
One right after another.
Yeah. So, and then we've got 8 grandchildren.
And your boys' names are,
Jamie, Chris, and Mike.
and then you have how many grandkids?
I've got 8 grandchildren. We've got 7 boys and 1 girl.
Oh, she's gonna be
Yeah,
spoiled.
we never had no girls.
She's not gonna do no wrong with all them boys around.
No.
Protect her.
Yeah.
Any great grandchildren yet?
Nope, not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
I was told to ask you about a place that you have for years and years called Clay's Corner. Can you tell me about that?
Well, like I say, I growed up right around the store. I lived 1 mile from it, so I'd go down there on Saturdays and hang out, you know, with some boys and everything. And I just got in my dreams that, you know, I'd like to have that store. And it changed hands from the time I was 10-year-old till the time I was 25, I guess. About the time I traded it up, but it changed hands 2 or 3 times, and it ended up being a family that bought it was from up north, and they had northern accents, and they had sort of long hair, you know, and the Brightstown folks wasn't used to that, and they didn't cater to them much, and wasn't long till they closed the store. They run it, I think, less than a year.
They just didn't have the following.
They just didn't have the following.
Yeah.
So my wife was working at Foursquare, working with little kids, 3 and 4 year old, and I said, honey, I'm thinking about buying this store, but you're going to have to go and help me. She said, anything to get away from them little kids, because she caught every week she was sick with something.
Right.
Whatever they had, she caught it every week.
Little germs and runny noses, yeah.
1988, we bought the store. And at the same time, I got a job with the U.S. Forest Service. So I went to work on, I know I was going to like the Forest Service the first day, because my first day to work was 4th of July, so it was a holiday. So I got off the first day, my first day of work. I said, man, I'm going to like this place. But I had a month to set the store up and help her learn and help teach what we need to do to run it, how we need to run it.
What all did you have in the store? Did you have a kitchen also, like similar to this?
No,
food, or
I mean, we did, but it was private.
I see.
You know, we didn't have the health department wouldn't approve what we had, because, you know, you got to have.
So it was basically just
We're not
friends.
like down in Georgia, and you know, down South Georgia, every store's got a little kitchenette in it.
Sure,
they
yeah.
come, you know.
Couldn't do that here.
Well, you could, but where we were situated, we couldn't. We didn't have the water facility, the septic tank.
I see.
We had that stuff, but it wasn't big enough to accommodate what we had. So
I see.
we had a
So it's
little.
basically a convenience store type of thing.
Yeah, but we tried to have everything. We had, if somebody mentioned something that they needed, my daughter tried to have it. Next day they come through on it, just, you know,
Right.
a little bit of everything. But
Right.
nuts and bolts and a few little pipe fittings and whatever it took, you know,
Right.
to keep
That's
somebody
great.
from going to town. We tried to keep it. So that we had a good business there for a lot of years, about 25, 28 years, and then Dollar Store, come to Peachtree, and you know they had everything.
And that was
I had,
it.
and they had everything I had, a whole lot cheaper than I could even buy it. So it didn't take us but a couple of years to see the handwriting on the wall. So.
Well, let's back up a little bit, because I heard that I'm supposed to ask you about the Opossum Drop, and that was during your early years, right, when you opened the store?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I had to have some kind of a draw to get people to come to my stores. I had the folk school, you know, and they circulated about 100 people a week, which was great for me, because they'd buy my t-shirts and they'd buy my coffee mugs and my coffee t-shirts and coffee mugs and canned possum and
Canned possum?
Yeah, canned possum. That's the new Diet Light version right there.
New Diet Light Brasstown Possum. Sun-dried in summer, freeze-dried in winter.
Ran over the mail.
Contents: pure possum ran over and over and over by Mercer Scroggs in front of Clay's Corner, Brasstown, North Carolina. That is adorable. Oh my gosh, that's great. We'll just leave that right there.
Like I say, you need a draw.
Right.
And I was doing a little detail down in Mississippi with the Forest Service. And I stopped at this little truck stop. It ain't like the big ones you see on interstate. This is just a little, they call it a truck stop. But it wasn't no bigger than my store was. But they pulled a lot of pine logs through there. So the big trucks stopped and buy fuel from him and everything. And I bought, and they had this right here. It said, possum ran over by a log truck in front of so-and-so's truck stop in Mississippi. And I said, that's got potential.
That's perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so I changed the label, and that's when I come up with just a regular possum, and then I come up with a new diet.
Right.
So
because everybody wants light or diet nowadays, right? Yeah. Oh, that's great. So what was the Opossum Drop itself? Was that an actual event?
We started that. We started our business in '88. We started this in around 90, somewhere along in there, 91. Doing possum with this stuff, and we always had music, bluegrass music in the back of the store. We had it for 30 years.
So you had people come in and just sit down in
Friday
the rocking chair or
every Friday night.
Oh, nice, and music.
From about 6 to 10 or 11.
Not on the radio. You're playing picking and grinning kind of playing.
Right in the back of my store.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and they come from all over. We had world champion fiddle players. We had world champion banjo players. They just hear about it, and everybody wanted to come to Clay's Corner Jam.
That's
We'd
fantastic.
have anywhere from 5 to 25, just any given Friday night.
Do you play an instrument?
No.
You just sing along or knee slap or something?
Most musical part of my body is my nose. I can pick it or blow it either way.
Nice. So is that what the drop is?
That's how we got started. And then once somebody said we need to drop the possum here for New Year's. So we had a little old ceramic possum.
For New Year's, is that what you said?
Yeah, New Year's.
Oh, instead of dropping the ball.
Yeah.
I'm with you now. Okay.
So we had a little old ceramic possum that we threw over the canopy. You know, we didn't have 20 people there, and everybody bring food, and we'd eat about 8 o'clock, and then they'd make music to 12 o'clock, and we'd lower the possum, and everybody go home.
Oh, that's great.
And then it kept getting a little bigger, you know. And finally, there's a lady across the old Martin Street come by, a young girl. She said, you don't use a live possum. I said, what? We should. So we started using a live possum. So we used that live possum for 15 years, I guess.
How'd you drop them? You just put them in a harness or something?
We just lowered him. We put him in a box.
In a box?
Yeah, in a cage. And we'd lower him down. And then that got catching on. And we got 200 or 300 people.
Wow.
And then we expanded. We built us a stage out beside we've got a little building right beside the store. We built a stage in front of it, and then we put a program together from like 10 to 12. And we had this womanless possum, Miss Possum contest.
Miss Possum contest. That's great.
Where Southern gentlemen dressed up like Southern ladies.
Oh, you're kidding.
It wasn't men in drag.
That wasn't drag.
It wasn't drag. It was Southern gentlemen dressed up like Southern ladies. I have to make that clear.
Okay.
So that was a great hit.
Right.
You know, and then we did a great tribute to our service people. You know, we did that. And first of all, we had a bluegrass band that come and play for 30 minutes. Then we spent about 30, 45 minutes with the Miss Possum Con. That was popular. And then
so they would just come out on stage and twirl and go back, or was there talent involved? Or?
No, there wasn't no talent.
No talent?
No, there wasn't no.
Okay.
Absolutely no talent.
And then how did you choose who the winner was? Like applause?
No.
Oh.
I just picked the winner.
Okay.
Now, if you done good, you couldn't win this year. Because you need to come back next year.
Oh.
But if the crowd didn't pick up on you much, you won. You was on your own.
So it was kind of opposite.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
We did all things for it. We had a lady that dressed up like a man, that dressed up like a woman. She was infiltrating the thing. You get that?
So it was a female, but she dressed up like a man that was dressed up like a woman.
Dressed up like a woman.
Okay.
That looked like some of ours. Well, we caught her. We caught the imposter. So I had these 4 or 5 big men, about 6'5", and had trench coats on. And we told her that we was going to have to search her to see what her gender was. So these men come out and held her coats around her. Nobody could see. And she'd throw a bra out, she'd throw panties out, she'd throw this out. And we had this little guy about this big.
Oh my God.
And he'd run around and try to jump up and look. It was funny.
That's hilarious.
So,
Oh, a lot of fun.
and then we had this old woman that was 90-some year old. She had been there 2 or 3 years in the contest, you know. And she wasn't an old woman, she was a man dressed up, you know.
Okay.
And we decided that she died. She was 95 or 100. I forget what we said she was. So we brought her in a hearse. And we had this homemade casket. You know how they...
Completely putting on a show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We had this homemade casket like they made during you see the westerns when they...
Yeah.
That's the kind of... That's
Yeah.
where we got that casket. And we put her in there. And we pulled up and we partied together. Now, you're talking about 2,000 or 3,000 people now.
Are you
You're
kidding?
not talking about 200 or 300.
Wow.
You're talking about the whole place that's covered. We had to put big screen TVs up.
Are you kidding me?
To where everybody could see.
That's famous.
But it's still-
You're
And
famous.
still old redneck. You know, we don't charge nobody nothing.
Right.
We just come and have a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we brought her in. So she asked to lay in state at the Opossum Drop. You know, being that she had been a queen at one time.
Sure.
So we set her up there, you know, and we didn't have nothing to set her up with, so we put a cement block back up and set her up a little bit, and she fell off of it one time. We got her back up, and they started playing Rocky Top, and she come to life. And she jumped up there, threw her cane down, took a swig of a little whatever, you know, and she went to clogging. And
Oh, that's awesome.
the music faded away, and she faded away and got back in the casket. We carried her out, put her back in the hearse, took her out.
Oh my gosh, that is a fantastic story.
That's just one of them.
Right.
I mean, that's 1 year. You know, we did it 25 years. So
Wow.
we did a lot of things that was just fun. You know,
Wow.
good clean fun.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And to be that large of a venue then, and not charge anything and just like come and have fun.
Come and have fun. You
Watch
know.
the store.
We
show
sold posters.
Yeah, I'll get some pictures of the posters
And
for
we
y'all.
sold T-shirts, and we sold tons of this.
I bet.
You know, $2.
Right.
You know, we sold tons of that.
Right. You didn't need to charge them to come because you could have all the stuff in the store to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
But we got so big, we had to close the store down, so many people got in there.
Oh.
If it had caught on fire,
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
died, or they just like pancakes. But
Just in there.
we closed the store down and moved all of our T-shirts and stuff outside.
Right.
And we'd give away free hot chocolate, you know, and people that donate. for
I
that.
wish they had something like that today. There's nothing fun like that
You
going
know,
on.
no, they need to. But
I mean, you can find shows to go to in music, but they're all,
in
have an
then,
admission or tickets.
Rick Rudolph. You ever hear of Rick Rudolph?
No.
He's the guy that done the bombing at the Centennial Park
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
and Alabama. Or
Yes, I do
They
recall.
blowed up one of them clinics.
Yeah,
Well, he was from here.
I didn't know
He
that.
was from Murphy. He was raised in Nantahala. He was living at Murphy at the time when they done that. And the FBI, instead of calling the sheriff and say, go pick this guy up, FBI put his tag number and his name on the TV. Well, he saw it. He loaded up and headed to the mountains. He stayed in these mountains for 5 years.
Huh.
But there was a guy from the New York Times from Atlanta that I was up Thursday Street up there working, and he stopped us and wanted to know where. That's after they caught him,
Yeah.
Rudolph. And he was wanting to know where Kemp was at up there. And we told him, we talked to him. He's a young Jeffrey something, I can't remember his last name. And this is July. And we said, hey, you ought to come to the Opossum Drop on New Year's Eve. Come down there and there's a big article on that. Well, he showed up. We never expected it. 6 months later,
Mm-hmm.
he wrote this big article and sent it to the New York Times.
Oh my.
And it didn't make the front page, but it made the second page. Half a page.
Oh wow.
On the New York Times.
How big did it get then?
Well, that's when PETA got involved.
Oh.
That's when they heard about it.
Because it was a live possum.
Because we made the publicity. They don't care what you do. They just want money out of it.
Uh-oh.
That's all they do. So they started giving me a hard time. And they called and said, if you use the law live possum, we're going to sue you. And I said, well, and they called at 6 o'clock that evening before we started 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
We had 4 hours to do something. So what do you do?
Not much notice.
We had a pretty little possum.
So did you go to like a little stuffed possum or a toy?
No. We had a box with a picture of a possum on it. At the bottom had his belly, and the sides had his sides, and the top.
Those all photos.
Yeah,
I got
photos
that.
put on there, and holes in there. And Peter was really raising cane. And I got a remote control card and put in that box. And I wouldn't let Peter come on my property, so they had to stand out in the road. So every now and then I'd take that remote and I'd go like that, and
So they thought
they thought there was a live possum in there.
Boy, they thought they had you, didn't
No,
they?
they thought they had me.
Oh,
They
no.
called the sheriff and demanded that he come down there and open that gate, because it had a lock on it. And he said, look, my job is to protect the people. It's not to protect animals. So I'm not opening up that gate. So he didn't.
Well, there you go.
That had them all tore up.
I bet. They were probably stewing hard.
Oh, they sued us 3 times.
Really?
Yes. They won the first one.
In the world.
They won the first one. And there's a big story behind that too. But we won the other 2. And then our representative, Roger West, good friend of mine, put a bill in the Congress there in Raleigh. We can do anything you want to a possum between, I think it's December the 28th to January the 3rd, I believe, is the dates. And they passed it.
You're kidding.
He talked all.
All because it started with the Opossum Drop here.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And because he was from here, and he stayed behind me. And matter of fact, you can see it right there on the wall. He had it mounted and framed for me.
Well, I will definitely get pictures of that to show you all.
But that's just, we had tons and tons of fun.
That sounds like it, yeah. Is there any other stories you want to tell me? I do want to ask you, how are you connected to the John C. Campbell Folk School?
Well, see, I was raised within a mile from the folk school.
Okay.
I went to little middle school when they was little. We taught to make paper puppets and, back then. And then they had dance classes. And that was within walking distance from my house. My daddy never had his driver's license. He never owned a vehicle.
Because it was walking distance to everything you needed.
Well, was for me, but
right.
He had a horse and mule wagon, and that's what he
That's
farmed, and that's all he needed, and that's all he could.
What did he have on his farm? Like livestock or food?
Just corn and
Crops.
corn and raised, garden and he
There's
worked.
several people that I've spoken with in these interviews have said the same thing. Everybody farmed a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Sustainable.
And later on, he was a carpenter helper around Pine Log up there. They built that Pine Log Village, come in here in the 60s, late 50s, I guess, mid 60s, and they built these little houses and them like, you know, that was some of the first people from Atlanta and Florida to come up here back in the '60s. And this guy owned a bunch of property there. They'd build one, sell it, build another, and sell it. It wasn't very big, you know, maybe 1,000 square feet.
What they now call tiny home.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's not as new as people thought.
I went to the folk school, and then they had Friday night dances at the folk school. And I loved to dance, folk dance, and do their kind of square dance and stuff. So I was over there every weekend, you know, and then I got to go on. They had a dance team. I got to go on it to Berea, Kentucky.
Like competing for dance?
No, it's not competing. It's just a team. They taught dancing up in Berea, Kentucky. They brought everybody together on the day after Christmas.
It would be a big class.
It's a dance week, what it was.
Okay.
Everybody come and dance, and they always send a dance team from folk school to go up there. So I got to do that 4 or 5 times.
That sounds fun.
So that's, you know, that was my entertainment in folk school. And then when I got 16, I worked at the dairy farm. I milked cows on the weekend and when I was in school. And so it had a big impact on me, you know.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty much all your growing up here, so.
yeah. But now I'm retired and I'm one of the county commissioners here in the county.
Who are you?
And I really enjoy it. I enjoy the job.
What's a day in the life of a county commissioner like?
Well, Monday morning, my calendar will be like that right there. Not a thing in the world. No. And by dinner time, I'll have 4 jobs, 4 places to go, 4 meetings to go to. You know, I had a meeting this morning.
So it's a wide variety
I had
of
2
things.
meetings yesterday. You know, I had one day this week, I had 3. And it's just, if people calls and needs, I try to help everybody, you know. I'm retired.
What's an example of somebody that would call and need something from the county commissioner?
Well, there's a lady called me one time and she said, I'm a nurse, COVID's going on, and there's 20 little donkeys below my house down here, and they're all braying. They bray all night. You know how they
Yes, they get loud.
She said, something's got to be done. And you know, most everybody said, well, I'm sorry, there ain't nothing we can do. And there ain't a whole lot we could do.
Right.
But I went to her and I talked to her. And I said, look, I know the lady that owns them. I said, if you went and talked to her? No, I haven't. I said, well, that's the first thing you need to do.
That's right.
You know, go talk to that lady. And she's a real religious lady. And she's a doctor. And I'm sure that you can work something out.
Maybe just put them in another field or the other side of the house or something.
Yeah, she just sold it, bought somewhere else. She never did go talk to her.
Well, see, that's the first thing they should do, is
Yeah.
always try to go to the person.
Yeah,
who's
it's
giving
right.
the
You know,
treatment.
I can't.
She may not realize that those donkeys were bothering her.
Exactly
you know?
right. Yeah. And
I didn't realize the county commissioner covered stuff like that.
Well,
That's great.
a lot of them don't, but I do.
Right. You got an open door policy there.
Especially in I work anywhere in the county that calls me. People's got a problem. I'll come. Well, let's see. Maybe we can solve it, and maybe we can't. You know, but at least I give them the opportunity that somebody cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let them talk and have somebody listen
And
to them.
all of the fellas is that way, but most of them work. You know, all of them.
Oh, right, and you're retired, so you
Yeah,
have
I'm
time.
retired, and Scotty Peeling, he's retired. He's our superintendent, and he's retired. But people call me just, just like a lady called me last week. Said, my neighbor up here, they don't pick the trash up. The wind blows it over the hill. Said we picked up 2 bags of trash last week.
The wind just carried it into her property.
Yeah. And I said, well, if you went and talked to her, she said, I've been up there 3 times. You can't catch her at home. And I said, well, I'll see what I do. So I called the sheriff, and the sheriff said, well, I'll look up the regulations and see see what we can do. I'll go talk to the lady that called, and then we'll go talk to them people. So, you know.
So it sounds like a lot of it just getting the open lines of communication up.
Making the contact.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's great. So it's an interesting position, I bet, and it's never a dull day. It's something different all the time.
yeah, it may go 3 or 4 days, you won't hear nothing. Then the next time you've got 3 meetings, 2 people knocking on your door. But, you know, I don't turn nobody down. I try to, at least we try to solve it. If we can't, at least they understand it. We've tried.
And you tried, right?
You know, and
Yeah, you
people
can't ask more
appreciate
than
that.
that. Yeah.
People appreciate that, and we can do that in a
So
little.
how often do you get elected to county commissioner?
Yeah.
Are you going to be on the ballot this year?
No, not this year.
No, he's
I was
done.
on about it last year. So I've got 4 years.
Oh, I see.
It'll be 26
I see.
if I decide to run again.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to remember your name and check that box
If it's there.
if it's there. Is there anything else you want to
Yeah,
share with us today? This has been so fun.
I'm getting old.
Well,
I was born when Moby Dick was a bidder.
I don't think that's
That's pretty
quite true. You may be pulling my chain,
That's pretty
pulling
old.
my leg.
But I really enjoy, I enjoy the job. I really enjoy it. And I try to have fun at it, you know. So,
Do you have a favorite quote or a joke or a favorite Bible verse you'd like to tell us?
somebody asked me what I'm doing on Forest Creek, live on Forest Creek, and I said, look, every day's a holiday and every meal's a feast for me up here.
Nice. Well, it has been very entertaining and wonderful to meet you, Mr. Logan. I appreciate your time, and I thank you. The council thanks you. And if you or anyone you know is interested in doing an episode of One-on-One with Clay County History, please don't hesitate to email me at cchacHayesville@outlook.com. Our website address is clayhistoryartsnc.org. And you can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye now.
My relative. We'll go back to the to the Beaches and the Moors in Clay County, and I think the Moors was maybe the first that came over the mountain from Macon County and Haywood County, and most all of them was out that way. So whenever 18 whatever Clay County was divided up,